HO race fans. This is Kevin Vitoman50. I'm going to do a teardown and some modifications on a Magnatraction car today. I've got my Firebird that I've had forever that I'm going to do. It's an old Magnatraction car, as you see. And I'm going to go ahead and do a teardown. I want you to see how it runs first before we do the teardown. Good running car. Not one of my best, but a good running car, as you can see. Slides a little bit. I kind of like my cars to slide, but I'm racing for guys that are a lot better than me, then we need a little bit of help. I don't have a timing system yet, so I can't give you exact times. But I've done other cars that usually get about 2 or 3 seconds faster on about an 80 or 90 feet track. And you see the car runs really well. I'm real happy with it. Okay, let's get to the teardown. Okay, we're back. Got my car. What you do is you take the body, pull it off the frame, pull the one side over, usually releases the clips on both sides. This is a AFX Magnatraction car. See where the magnets are exposed here and here. Okay, got the body off. It's funny about this body, I've looked at it for a gazillion times, but see how the windshield is really on the outside and not on the inside where it should be. I don't know if it was pushed out like that from the factory. I've never touched it. Still got the original factory little where they melt the plastic down to hold everything in. See where they did all that on there, and the windshield went in that way, and it doesn't seem to sit right. It should sit like that in the chassis, but it doesn't for that reason. Okay, first of everything, it's the teardown. Get my screwdriver, pop the clip off real easily, pull it out on the side, flip it over, clip comes off. Hold the 2 magnets in place, pull the top part of the chassis off, the motor plate with the motor. Car looks kind of greasy, but runs good. It's been a good running car for me. And there's the car. It's a little oil, looks like it's been over oiled a couple times. Still runs good. So we'll go ahead and grab a paper towel first and clean up everything on top first, just to get it cleaned up. See, definitely been over oiled and dirty. Take a toothpick, push both motor brushes out, and then the springs come out. This motor brush still has a spring on it. The spring is a separate one. Take the magnets out. I got 2 magnets that I tested both of them on the gauge meter. Test them on here. Most of them tested. What I did, you can't see it, but I marked where the magnet, I don't know if you can see it, where the magnet will fit every time. I outlined a magnet and put it there every time. That one's an 8-0, and that's the front or the rear red. And this is the front white. 7-9, so they're real close. Just something to show you too. See, that showed 7-9. That was the white painted side. The non-painted side actually is not more magnetized or more magnetized because of the paint doesn't hurt it none at all on the magnets I found. These are the ones that were originally in the car. Let's see what they do. That one's a 6-8. That's the red one. This is the white one. 6-4. So they weren't exact match. Plus they were real low, a lot lower than these ones here. As you can see, I've got a ton of magnets. Some of them were 8s. Most of them were around 6s like those were. Most of your magnets for the Magnatraction cars are usually mid to high 6s, low 7s is what I've always found. I always just grab all my magnets I got. I got a few more than this, but these are the ones I have usually are the best. The other ones I have are pretty trashed. Okay, so I did check them out. Go ahead and clean the chassis out. Take a little bit of oil off of it. Okay. Pretty decently clean chassis. This one I don't have to do too much to. It's been pretty. I keep most of mine pretty clean. A little dirty, just a little dirty here and there. Pickup shoes are nice and clean. I bought a Chicago electric power tool from Harbor Freight. 29 bucks, works real well for cleaning. You want to clean the bottom of the chassis, go right ahead. Doesn't hurt it nothing. Clean it up real good. That's how I usually clean everything. Keep it decently clean. Depends on which one you use. I use this more like almost like a sanding grit disc, but it's not sand grit, but it's kind of like a fiber sander kind of disc. Works out pretty well for me. Okay. So first things first, I've got me a tire measuring tool. Rear tires on it now are 556s. Front tires, on these are stock, they're pretty tall. 440s, 438s. So the 436s on the front, which makes them pretty tall. Take those off. I'm gonna leave these tires and rims together as a unit. You can either take it off this way and pry it off, which works just fine. Now I've got some rear axles. They're for the 63 axle diameter. I take a little bit of a 16th inch drill, just a little bit to grind them out a little bit. Helps them get on a little quicker and a little easier. And take your tire installer. And take and install the tire rim. These are 300,000s, which most of them, a lot of guys will put the 250,000, which is a 1/4 inch. This is just a tad over 1/4 inch. And then, like I said, these are the AJs. They're for 63 axle. The Deltron hubs, Fitztomies, Old Aurora, single flanged wheels. And then, like I said, the 300 wide tires. These are 438s. I find they run real good on pretty much any track. And these are by Super Tires. So we'll take those out and install them on the rims when they're both ready. What you do is you lower the car down as far as you can. You got one on. Let's pull the other one back off. Pull the other side off. Kapow. Take the other rim. Put it on. push it on. I'm going to bolt down tight. Let's make sure the axle is dead even in there. Let's go up a little bit to the other side, just a little bit. I always push them in as far as they go and try to get the axle centered on the hub. And then just pull them out. This side out, this one's a little tight. Let's use this. See if I can get it up inside there. Let's pull a little more. There you go. Well, it's just enough. 3 wheels. Okay, here we go. Now, one thing I do is the magnet does not sit down flush against the bottom of here. It doesn't sit flush here. If you ever look at any of your cars, the magnet does not sit flush down on this back pan here. Take the little piece here. What it does is holds the magnets up in and just remove it off the chassis. You don't have to go very far. See, I'm not digging down very far. Now, see how I did that? See where it's cut out right here? And this one's still there. What it does, it lets the magnet sit down. It's only a little bit, doesn't put it down a ton, but just puts down far enough to actually set the magnet down in there, a little tighter to the bottom of the chassis. Just take it off. See that? Just take it off. Try to always move your finger out of the way so you don't take your finger off. I've seen too many guys do it. Okay. See that? Where it's taken right off right there. Then you take your red magnet, put in the chassis. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but see how much further it sits down on it? It actually sits flat against this piece of plastic here. It sits deeper in the chassis. Okay. Now, this is a 9-inch straight piece of plastic. The plastic off the 9-inch straights off of the Tommy track. I always take and cut a little strip off of this. Don't cut the tip of your finger off. Okay. You can find out the length you need. And that's for your magnet. Put your front magnet in first. Take and wedge one side and spin around and get the other side. This takes a little bit of work to do this. Sometimes it slips right in. Sometimes it takes forever. There. Went right in. Now, sometimes it works perfectly. Take the razor knife, try to push it down into the chassis. Let's see here. Upside down. There. In there. And what that does, it wedges the magnet closer to the motor. Try to get down as far in there as possible. Like that one there, you can barely see it. Matter of fact, you can't see it at all now. The only time you see it is right between the two little openings right here. I've done where I've taken two pieces and wedged down in there. Now the magnet won't come out. What that does, it holds the magnet down in there further, pushes it closer to the motor, gets you a little bit better magnetism to the motor. Do the same for the rear. Well, in this case, you only need two real small ones. Same thing, just do two real tiny ones. Maybe cut a couple just in case I lose any of them. And you want to take a little bit of super glue, and right here on that little back tang, just put a little glue on it. Don't need to overdo it. Take your rear magnet, shove it down on there. Take these little ones. You can either leave them in there or not, that's up to you. And just shove them down in there. Most times I take them back out. All I want to do is when the super glue finishes up, because one thing I don't want is add weight to the back if I can help it. Front is not as big of an issue. It helps it so the car don't derail as much. But all I'm doing is holding them in there. It's kind of hard to see that probably, but they're in there. And push them. I always try to push them as far down in the side as possible. What I found sometimes, if you go all the way across the back, it'll sometimes hit the back of this motor piece right here of the plate, and it won't seat down into the car real well. Chassis done in that point. Now, put your tires on. Make sure they stay smooth turn and are even when they sit on the rim, so you don't get a lot of wobble or anything. I always kind of just run them around with my finger. It takes a lot of them out. Now, a little trick I've learned over time. I've got these from Ace Hardware. They're O-rings. I don't think you can see that, but they're 1/4 inch. That's what the rim hub is, 1/4 inch by 3/8 by a 1/16. So they fit a 1/4 inch rim. 3/8 is how big they are around. Don't know if you can see that. By a 1/16. Part number is 56000-E. You can get a box on for $25. I usually get 2 boxes. Make sure I get 50. The item number is 56005. Again, they're 1/4 inch by 3/8 by a 1/16 wide. So they fit a 1/4 inch rim, they're 3/8 around by a 1/16 how wide they are. That's these. So you get your 2 of them, and you put them on the front rim. Okay, that's a couple things I'm doing so far. Take out the front pin. Now, these pins are from a Mega G. They're longer than a standard pin, and they're the right size to fit in a Magnatraction body. These are Mega G pins. I think they're like 49 cents, maybe 89 cents, something like that, is what these cost. Okay. Now you're going to have to kind of push it in a little bit. Take a screwdriver, put it in the front, hold it by the magnet, and shove it in. Clip, done. See, the tires are a little shorter than what they are stock. O-rings are real short compared to the big fat O-rings that are originally on the car. So it lowers the chassis down, so you're not lowering the rear magnet only, you're lowering the front magnet also. Okay. Take the little flashing that I cut off of here. There you go. Take the front hub off is what I do. Now, I've got shims, bronze spacers. This is .003, 005, 10s, and 15s. Okay, see them in there? Take a 15, one side, and another 15, that makes 30. Shove that on. 2 15s for the other side. 30 thousandths doesn't sound like much, but when you're racing, that little extra width does help. It makes a huge difference. It's 30 thousandths per side. Okay, let's throw it back in the block again. Probably go another 15 on per side. Try that, see what happens. $45 thousandths this side. Perfect. Probably go another 3 or 5 thousandths, but I think that's enough. Probably go a little bit on the back too, but I'm going to leave that alone. That'll help the car not three-wheel, because the car tends to three-wheel sometimes on these. So I always like to widen out the front. If you ever notice, that's why they go the O-ring with the wide fronts on them. Okay. Okay, that's episode 1. So we get a little bit more time, I'll go ahead and do an episode 2. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you like, please, I'd appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Everybody have a good day. Thanks.